Charting Toward Intimacy covers mature topics. Listener discretion is advised. Ever feel stuck trying to show your husband you love him in small ways, wishing there was a male version of picking up flowers on your way home? In this episode, we are unpacking pursuit of your husband and why it's vital for a thriving marriage. You're going to walk away with simple, powerful ideas to help him feel seen, loved, and desired. Welcome to Charting Toward Intimacy, the podcast for Catholic women that helps you improve your sex life, strengthen your marriage, and embrace God's design for love. My name is Ellen Holloway, and joining me today is my semi-regular co-host, Kathleen Schvanis. All right. Have you ever tried to get your husband flowers? Like, have you ever just tried to buy him flowers and give them?
You know, I will say I've thought about it.
I've never tried. I'm like, I wonder.
I have not tried, but I've thought and been like, man, if he would appreciate flowers, I would get him flowers today. What would he appreciate instead? So there are times that I've gotten a special little snack from the grocery store or like a cigar or something.
I feel like
really nicer
honestly,
cigar.
My husband's, as I was thinking about it, my husband's equivalent would be Flaming Hot Cheetos Cone Limon.
Oh my gosh, that's like
the store.
Wow,
that would so totally be that.
Well,
that's
see,
his equivalent.
That's I think what's funny is Michael's not that different. Like any sort of like a taquito from the gas station. He'd be like, "Oh well, she loves me." But for me, it's like that just doesn't feel special enough to convey what I'm trying to convey. You know what I mean? Like flowers are special. Like it's just it's not something every day, and they're beautiful and I don't know. They just feel different than some of the really base things that I think our husbands would actually appreciate. And so it's hard to feel like you're getting your message across. It's like, oh yeah, here's a bag of Cheetos.
I feel that so much. But I think here we're really finding there's really a difference, right? We know there's a difference between men and women, right?
Yeah.
But okay, but what do flowers convey? What are we talking about here? It's I'm just thinking of you and I love you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And there's no strings attached to it, right? It's just something small to tell you that at some point earlier today I was thinking of you and I went out of my way to get something for you. Even if you sent your husband to the store to get milk and all he had to do was pick him up on the way to the checkout, right?
Yeah, right, exactly.
He still had to go out. He still had to literally pick them up, right? So it's just this oh, he went out of his way to get something for me.
Well, and it had to be an additional thought, right?
Yeah.
It had to be out of just auto mode, right? And say, oh, I'm going to do this intentional thing, right? It's something so funny though, because it's okay, well, why can't Cheetos be that? Right? Why can't Kathleen, a taquito from the gas station be that? They absolutely can, I guess, right? But I think it just feels so different because I think with women, I don't know. And I think in general, why are flowers a thing? I didn't look into the history of why flowers of all things.
Ooh, right? I can actually roll into this just a little bit because I took a flower class in college.
Oh, okay.
Just for funsies.
I would be interested. Yeah. Love it.
Okay. So it's something. So first off, flowers came when we did not have as good of hygiene, right? So flowers smelled nice.
We were all a little stinky.
And they we weren't as stinky if you had a flower on your body or if you were holding flowers in front of you,
so
they weren't as stinky. You weren't as stinky.
You weren't
the
as
smell
stinky,
of the flower. Now, nowadays we've got such hybridized flowers that are built to last a really long time that they don't have any scent. Because, fun fact about flowers, the scent of flowers, producing the scent is a very high energy process for the flower. And so as the flower produces scent, so it dies. That is the process of it. The point of it producing scent is to attract like the bees and the moths and the, whoever's gonna, what is the thing I'm trying to think of? Whoever's gonna pollinize the plant. And so like the flower is simply just this like attraction to the pollinator. So it's like bright and colorful, it opens really wide, and it smells really nice. And so the pollinator comes, but there's no need for the flower after the pollinator has come. And so that's why like the scent then just like drives the death of the bloom. So the flowers that we buy at the grocery store now are super hybridized. My goodness, that word could not come out of my mouth. In such a way that like the flower lasts way longer. And that's why if you like pick up flowers at a grocery store and you try to smell them, you're like, they don't smell like anything. It's because they're not supposed to. And if your flowers smell like something, it probably means that they sprayed some sort of like perfume on the flowers to make them smell like flowers. So they're not like, just don't try to smell the grocery store flowers. It's not worth it.
No
smell the
way.
ones,
That's crazy.
In the random field on your way. Yeah. Like the ones in your backyard. But even, okay, sorry. I'm on a weird soapbox right now of flowers.
You're on a flower tangent. Yeah.
Even the like flowers that you can buy, like the plants that you can buy, those have been really hybridized. What is this word? Why can't I say it?
Hybridized. Yeah.
Like even the plants have been hybridized in such a way that like they're not as scent filled, because like we buy, like we have like a rose bush in our front yard. We want the roses to last a long time and like look so pretty. But like the old school, the original flower plants, flowers only lasted for like a day.
So interesting.
It is interesting, right?
Wow.
But anyway, okay, so now this continues into like why flowers became this like sign of I love you is it's just this like no strings attached kind of like fleeting thing. Right? Like I'm just thinking of you in this moment and I love you, right? Like a flower doesn't last long. It's just a quick, like it's like the equivalent of like a little sticky note or something. Like it's just like, or like a Snapchat even. I don't know. Maybe that would be a better, like, it's just like
so
the
funny.
idea was, guy walking home from a meeting, walks past a bush and picks one up for his wife at home and gives it to her. And, she's delighted in the moment and it lasts for the rest of the day. And that's it.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I think there's also got to be there's this like connection to like beauty for beauty, right? Where it's just like, like this feeling of like, oh, well, you're thinking of your wife or your girlfriend or whatever, right? And like women are captivating, right? Like we are like the fairer sex. Like there's this beauty that we have that is different from like a male beauty, right? That is more delicate like a flower, right? And so it's just like, oh yeah, like a flower is a perfect like representation of all the things they sort of appreciate about you in those fleeting thoughts throughout the day, right? So this sort of delicate beauty, which is why I feel like it is like that's even something that I think is so subconsciously recognized by women, right? Like when you get flowers, it's just this like, oh my gosh, like he thinks I'm beautiful, right? Like it's almost like they just, that's just the message they give. There's like beauty for beauty, right?
Yeah.
Which is why sometimes it can feel
right.
Right. Like they serve no purpose. It's just beauty for the sake of beauty because beauty is good, right? Which is why I feel like when we try to translate this to men, right? Like, what can I give my husband to say, oh, I'm thinking about you? It's really hard because it's like, their beauty is different, right? Yeah. It's so different. And flowers are just this like natural connection to beauty. It's like, what do I give that represents like the same sort of thought? So that's kind of what we want to chat about today.
Yeah.
Like, what is the male equivalent of flowers, and ultimately just like in this broader pursuit of our husbands?
Right. Because like when we think about what flowers are making us feel, like think about it for yourself, right? Kathleen and I kind of talked about what flowers make us feel like, but
Yeah.
maybe there's some other thought that you have in your head. And what we want to encourage you to do is then take that feeling and translate it to your husband. What would make your husband feel like you went out of your way to tell him that you loved him? What would make your husband feel like you thought about him throughout the day? What would make your husband feel like you think he's handsome or attractive or, whatever? Like, and I think this is just such a good practice to do, like just a great, I keep trying to say like a thought exercise, but it's not just a thought exercise. We're not just thinking about this. Like, I want you to think about it, and then I want you to do that, because ultimately pursuing your husband is such a good and honorable and loving thing to do. Because when we look at like what our marriage is theologically, spiritually, like to our husband, we are imaging God. And God is always in pursuit of us. So in some sense, it is our role as Christian wives to pursue our husband. And the same goes the other way. In some sense, it is the role of the Christian husband to pursue his wife. Wrong.
Yeah. Wrong pronoun.
Right. So like, this isn't just like a nice to have. Like I want to argue that this is actually something vital to your marriage, is to pursue your husband, because as humans, we have a deeply ingrained, truly written on our very person, on our very body, soul being of pursuit, because we are made for eternal life with God, right? We are made for the eschaton. Yeah. And that means that we are constantly in pursuit from God. But because of our fallen nature, we don't always see that. We're not very privy to it. Like, it's easy to forget about it. It's easy to not respond to that pursuit. And so thus, Christian marriage exists to help us deepen our relationship with God and understand these aspects of how God is in relationship with us. And so we need to do that for our husband so that he can then start to recognize the places that God is pursuing him, right? Yeah. And yes, of course, this goes the other way. But look, ladies, you can't change your husband. Like, what can you do? This is about your salvation.
Yeah. And I think also, like, it's really important to talk about this, because I'll say this is something that I have and continue to struggle with, this pursuit of my husband. That's really kind of like had a pretty good toll on our marriage. And I think that it's important for us as women to talk about this, because we're the ones most often running the household, right? Like, we're the ones with 1,000 things on our mind at every moment, that if you're anything like me, sometimes the thought of like stopping to show your husband affection or appreciation or that intentionality that it takes is not always first on your mind. Right. It's not even second, third, fourth, or even the 100th on your mind a lot of the time, right? So it's like, it can be such an afterthought, that, again, this has been a massive struggle of mine, is to like, and it's like, oh yeah. And I think as women, like, we were taught that like we ought to be pursued. That's not our job, right? Like, it is our husband's job to pursue us, or our boyfriend's job, or whatever, you know what I mean? To pursue us. And we just sort of stand there and wait of the pursuit. Now that's like, there's like something that's fine about that in the beginning of a relationship. But now when you're married and committed for life, like, that does become your job to reveal God to your husband through your pursuit. And we need that reminder. I'm telling you, I am the most brain foggy, scatterbrained person on the planet. And it's like, this is something that, I mean, I'm sitting here talking about it, and I hope my husband doesn't listen to this episode, because he's going to be like, are you really trying to talk to people about that?
Yeah.
It's like, you're awful at this. And it's like, true. And I am, because there's so much on my plate that it just gets lost in the shuffle, right?
Yeah.
So it's we've got to be really intentional. Maybe it's so much as setting a reminder in your phone for a certain time every day. Like, I'm talking to myself.
I love
Right?
using phone reminders.
Yeah.
Like, literally, what you could do is set like 2 alarms.
Yeah.
And just, one at 10 and one at 2, right? Yep. And just like when that alarm goes off, just think to yourself real quick, is there something that I could do right now that would make my husband feel loved, right? And like, maybe it's sending a quick text.
Yep.
Maybe it's like grabbing something. Like, maybe you're at the store, right? And like, maybe it's like, oh, like I could grab those Cheetos.
Maybe it's a bag of Cheetos.
Maybe
I don't
it's
know.
a bag of Cheetos, right? Maybe it's even like giving him a quick call, or just like maybe thinking about, okay, what's something I could do later today? Like, what's it, when he gets home, I'm going to, drop everything and give him a big hug that's like at least 30 seconds long or something like that, right?
Back rub.
Yeah, exactly. I think that can help us do that. Or even, you can tie it to things you already do, right? So like at breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you think to yourself, what's something I could do right now to make my husband feel seen and loved and delighted in, right? Like, because that's what flowers do for us. So, all right. So I feel like we have a couple of things for you to do. One is think about, like, what is it that like flowers are making you feel? Is it seen? Is it loved? Is it delighted in? Is it that he's like thinking of you, right? Like, what is that? And then what's going to make your husband feel that too?
That same way, yeah.
And you can, like, it can be gifts. It can be like words, like saying things to him. It can be just like spending time. But it's just about like intentional pursuit and intentionally, like, non-explicitly telling him that you love him, right?
Yeah.
So, because that's what flowers do. It's a non-explicit way of saying I love you.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not saying that explicit ways of saying I love you aren't important, because that's super important too. But like the non-explicitness of flowers is so, it just feels so good for us ladies.
Yeah.
And so what is it that you can do for your husband? And like, I think another theme that sort of has come up in this conversation is that it isn't going to be identical. It's not going to be flowers. I mean, unless your husband really likes flowers, like, I don't know.
Then great.
Great, go get him flowers.
That makes it easy for you. Yeah.
Right? That'd be cool. But like, so it's gonna be different. But I know that there is something in your life that you can do, regardless of your circumstances, regardless of your time, regardless of your budget. Like, there is something you can do to make your husband feel seen and loved and like you were thinking of them throughout the day.
Yeah. And I would say, if you need some inspiration, we did a little bit of research and found this chart that asked the men of Reddit and TikTok what this flower equivalent would be. And the top 4 things, they might vary depending if it was Reddit or TikTok in terms of which one is like, but they were the same, like, top 4: beer, food or a meal, beef, meat, or steak, which
I think is hilarious.
So funny and so stereotypical. And a compliment. There was another one in there that was not appropriate, so I'm not even going to mention it. But
no, not necessarily.
That would have been in the top 5. But those are the top 4. Again, they varied in regards to order, but they were the top 4. So
I mean,
I
there
feel
is that,
like
that old like saying, right? A way to a man's heart is through his
it's
stomach.
through his
Like,
stomach.
I
Yeah.
don't think that's wrong in some
I don't,
aspects.
I mean, if it's Michael Chavanis, it is not wrong. You're correct. But I will say, like,
I'm telling you, it's Cheetos for my
it's
husband.
so funny because it just shows the male and female brain. Like, we are constantly trying to overcomplicate things, I think. You know, and it's like men know that it's not complicated. And they know that we are complicated, but that ultimately, like, it doesn't have to be complicated. And, you know, so they're just like, oh, it's simple. I'm just going to go get her flowers. And that's it. I don't need to overthink it. Flowers, like, mean this thing. It's fine. Whereas we sit here and we're like, well, no, like, what do I get him? Oh my gosh, like, it's got to be something really special. It's got to be something, like, totally stand out. When really, we're just overcomplicating it because a bag of Cheetos or a good steak for dinner is all he really needs.
Yep.
It's, I don't know why we do it to ourselves, but it's clearly just hardwired into all of us.
Yeah. And okay, I want to circle back to something that you said at the very beginning on this similar topic of just like, we can look at these things and it's like, Kathleen, you know that if you picked up that taquito from the gas station, which I'm not so sure about, but
I'm never sure about it, but let me tell you, few things make my husband happier.
okay,
Which
right?
is so
You
strange.
know that makes him feel seen and loved and delighted in, right? But then you also said, like, I can't fathom how
Right.
that makes him feel that way. And so, like, ladies, we've got to do this to, like, we have to get out of our own brains because I can guarantee your husband doesn't understand why you like flowers. He's like, these are dumb and have no purpose. What's the point? They don't even smell good. What's
They don't
wrong?
even taste good. They don't taste good.
They don't taste good.
If it doesn't taste good, I don't get it.
What's the point?
Oh my gosh.
Right.
It's
So,
true.
like, when you're thinking about what this equivalent is for your husband, you have to recognize it's not going to be a perfect equivalent. And it may not make sense to you. But some good questions to, like, help you think about this, right, is or just like some good exercises. So first off, like, just observe what lights your husband up. Like, what, you know, that difference between like normal husband and like just like more lit up husband. You know the difference. What are those things that like light him up? You can ask him. That's a really good one. Highly recommend asking him. You can just try something, right? Just try bringing home a snack from the grocery store next time you're there,
Yeah.
right? You never know.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, just like, but just be observant. Like, maybe even to like have a little note on your phone or like a notebook or something and just like jot down some ideas and then just give them a try. If they fall flat, don't do it again. Fine.
Yeah.
Right?
So my husband actually took the initiative to create a spreadsheet of
I remember this spreadsheet.
of ways he felt loved. And I didn't ask him to do this. He did it because I suck at doing this. So he went ahead and created a Google Doc, a spreadsheet, and shared it with me. So now I can access that whenever I need to. I may have felt a little bitter about it when he first made it, but now it's just like, oh, you know what? This is a really helpful tool.
Yeah. So maybe ask your husband to make a list of all the ways that he feels loved.
Yeah, exactly. And then you
just
just have
refer
it to
to it.
reference. Yep, whenever you need.
I would love that. Actually,
Yeah.
sounds really great.
It is really great. Also, you know what? I'm going to do a plug here for a book as well that I admittedly, because I'm awful at this, never finished. Don't do as I say, not as I do. Okay. There is a book called Wife in Pursuit. And then there is a matching book called Husband in Pursuit, written by a Christian husband-wife team that is basically a 30-day challenge to pursue your spouse. There's like a reflection, usually like a little scripture, and then a pursuit challenge. And if you do them together, the challenges match up to, the days. So that is if this is something that you kind of struggle with, you feel like you can't come up with something creative enough or special enough, or it's just like it overwhelms you to try to think of these things, that could be a really good option, is just kind of, looking for this book where it's just very cut and dry. You just read one a day, and do it. Some of them do take time. So if it takes you more than 30 days, I would say don't put pressure on yourself, because maybe you just do something small that you can think of that day, and then kind of take a couple days to do the ones that take more time. But it's a good option.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
All right. So go pursue your husband.
The end.
Thanks so much for listening. If sex has started to feel more like something on the to-do list than true intimacy, you are not alone. It's easy to fall into a rut and not know how to bring up trying something new, especially as a Catholic woman who wants to stay faithful to church teaching. That is why I created the Catholic Sex Positions Guide. With over 50 positions, clear how-to instructions, troubleshooting tips, and even a special section for pregnancy, this guide makes it easy to find new ways to connect. Plus, it comes with printable cards that you can just grab out in the bedroom so that you don't have to pull out the big PDF and look through it. It's all 100% Catholic and designed to help you grow in both passion and holiness. Grab it now at vinesinfullbloom.com/positionsguide or click the link in the show notes.